everyone, and welcome to the Wellness Parenting Revolution. I'm your host, Dr. Terry Warner, along with my co host, Dr. Stu Warner, and this is where we're turning the sickest generation into the healthiest. So, we have another two special guests with us today. Stu, why don't you go ahead and introduce?
Yes, we have a brother and sister team here, and I must start off by saying your parents must be very proud for all your accomplishments and what you're doing. We have Justin Lam from us from California, co-founder of Cool Blue, and has a BS in biology from Pacific Union College. He's a diplomat in anti-aging medicine and board certified in anti-aging as a health practitioner. And he's an international best-selling author and is a business expert in working with teams and organizations, which quite a resource of information there. And then we have his beautiful sister, Dr. Carrie Lam, MD, who's board certified in family medicine and focuses on functional integrative anti-aging and nutrition, and is just helping so many people. A wealth of information. Graduate of Loma Linda University, the famous institution, and it also is a best-selling author and is the best-selling book Advanced Systems of Adrenal Fatigue Syndrome, along with the companion cookbook, which is so important to practical application of what you're teaching. So welcome, Justin and Carrie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, so why don't we start off just sharing a little bit about your journey and going through your education and how you landed where you are.
Yeah, so me and Carrie, obviously brothers and sisters, our parents have always been very natural and holistically minded. So when we were growing up, that's actually kind of how when we got sick, that's how we would get better, just taking, vitamins, supplements, nutritionals, and whatnot. And even though our dad was a doctor, we never really went to see a doctor, in the conventional sense. And it wasn't only till we grew up and Dr. Carey went to medical school and realized that's not how you that's not how they teach medicine, actually, right? Yeah, and so from there we opened up a clinic down here in Orange County in Tustin, and we opened it about 5 years ago, teaching functional medicine to patients here, and it's been very successful since then. And during that time, actually, we opened up right at the beginning of the pandemic. Not a smart move for anybody wanting to do business, as far as that goes. And we were having a hard time staffing our clinic, actually, and so because people were getting paid to stay at home, right? And so we had a tough time staffing our clinic, and so we were working long hours throughout the day. Our billing was falling behind. Dr. Carey was also a new mom at the time, and I can let her talk more about this here. But yeah, she was having a tough time, taking notes and going home and being a mom. Is that right, Dr. Carey?
Yeah. Being new parents, I'm sure I'm new. I mean, I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old now, so really in the thick of it. And at that time, I also just started a clinic, and it was actually really hard because, like you said, like we go into medicine, we don't know anything about business. We don't come out learning how to manage people or do operations, or we really just only know the medicine side of it. So having to really even know how to run a clinic or even manage people, and also do the insurance billing and writing notes and burning that midnight oil was just super tough without extra help. And so it was like really key to be able to have these assistants or virtual assistants to be able to help me lighten my load, and so that I can be more efficient, actually do what I want to do, which is integrative medicine, and help patients the way I want to, and still be able to go home, okay, at okay, I'm done at 5 p.m., so I'm just gonna go home and, be with my kids. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the goal, right? You have a lot of women watching that can 100% relate. I'm one of
Yes.
them, and so with three
Yes.
kids. So I remember
Nice.
those days, and I when we first found out about you guys and your product, that's one of the things I was like, oh my gosh, this is revolutionary for so many people. So
Hmm.
Justin or Carrie, take us through. So you open your new clinic, you're having trouble staffing, you're a new mom. You have to get all the paperwork done, you have to get all the billing done. So that birthed your company that can not only help you, but can help so many people. So tell us a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So our company, Coolblue VA, now provides virtual assistants to other offices to help them do anything that they need, really short of touching a patient. So a virtual assistant, if you don't know, it's a real person. They're based in the Philippines, and they're like a medical professional, nurse, pharmacist out there, and so they have a lot of medical knowledge, and they can work virtually, remotely during your office hours to help you out with anything that you need. So that's answering phones, scribing, customer service, scheduling appointments, insurance, social media, anything that you can think of, they can help you out with. And it doesn't even have to be medically related things. Like my personal virtual assistant, books all my travel for me. She orders me lunch, so I don't even have to think about that, right?
I tell you, I think the person I've been working with, contacting through you, is your virtual assistant, and she's fantastic. She's, she's just very on top of things and comprehensive and very nice too. It's just, it's been, you get confidence knowing that she's handling it, and so many doctors have not experience or expertise, but and the time consuming of it all is to interview staff and to train them and then to manage them. So many doctor offices have staff infections that are interfering with their businesses, and Coolblue VA is a way to treat those staff infections because you've done all the work for them. They're professional, they're knowledgeable, and you actually will save money by working with Coolblue VA instead of paying for your staff, which is unpredictable at times. You have the whole thing down to a science.
It is
Yeah,
really
I
tough
love I
nowadays.
love that word that you use. I've never heard that before, but I'm probably going to steal that one, Dr.
Well,
Stu.
that's
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, can I just say something? Well, I'm not an owner of Kubu VA. I just use their VAs, like in our clinic. So I we started with just one, and it is kind of like an infection because you just keep getting more, and like we have like 30 now, so um, and that you find so much use, and it's not like the virtual assistant is like a special type of person. It's really they're just any employee that you can think of, they can be that employee, right? They're just virtual, which most of the things nowadays can be done virtually, especially in our medical field. Everything is in the EMR, right? Um, so like, hey, I have 6 people on customer service just answering phone calls. Like my answer rate is like 95%, so even if you don't get an answer for your question today, you'll probably get it by the end of the day. We have another 6 people for billing, just doing insurance eligibility, like making sure that all the patients' insurances are in line before they come in, and calling them ahead of time, like, and so we even know what the copay is ahead of time. And then I have another like six, no, 9 scribes, um, 2 per provider, because now we have like 5 to 6 providers in my clinic. But like the scribes are basically there with you the whole visit. If you do virtual appointments, they can act like any MA. They get they go through their medications, their supplements, they get their co-pays, they charge if there's any deductibles, and then they write the whole note. They can even order labs, they can order supplements, really everything, and then they even, like, our scribes are trained to answer the portal messages that come in the middle of the night, but we don't answer them, obviously, it's the next day. But they can definitely screen through all those portal messages, already come up with recommendations, because these are actually like nurses that are trained in the Philippines. So they actually have medical background, and that's what makes it just so much easier. Like, you're actually hiring nurses, right? When you say you have a staph infection, is because a lot of times the MAs or the people we're hiring, they're like fresh out of college, or they're maybe going to grad school to want to be a PA, but they really have no experience in the medical field. Sometimes when you're hiring them, they're just like an office assistant, they're just like a secretary, and so it takes so much to also train them. So, but these medical virtual assistants, they come already pre-trained with all the medical knowledge, which is really nice, and some of them, if you need an insurance person, they're already pre-trained in all the insurance terminology and things like that. So they probably just need a refresher on how each office does their thing, but that comes with every person, but it's just so much easier. And yeah, and so we talked about, yeah, customer service, even back office, like all these uploads that you need to do, or scanning, like really, like they've really made our lives just so much easier and so much better. And they're such good workers, really, like very polite, very hardworking. They say yes sir, yes ma'am, like they're just great people too, and we just feel like so happy to be able to help them, where they're at, which most of them, they're located in the Philippines.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know if it's cultural, but I remember 20 years ago we had a bookkeeper that was Filipino, and his work ethic was incredible, and he was so nice, and he was probably one of the best employees we ever had. So
Hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
something in the culture. I'd say, I mean, you just go to any hospital nowadays and they're just filled with Filipino nurses, right? And I mean, they just care so much. It's really in their blood, customer services, and caring. And so they give great service, as far as that goes. And like you mentioned, Terry and Stu, it's hard to find good help, right? And you have to interview, people over and over again. And I don't know, now people tell me horror stories. It's like I schedule somebody for an interview and they don't even show up for the interview. It's like, what's going on? Right. So we take care of all of that for you. We have a 3-step interview process that we go through to make sure that their English is great, they have great technology, they have the knowledge to handle everything. And then after that, we also, on top of that, put them through a training program as well. So we make sure that they have good customer service, they understand how to do that, they know how to do billing. And in the wellness space, because we have a functional integrative clinic, we can also have a module that trains them on how to do some of that stuff as well. So it's really beneficial for anybody looking to get more staff, at a very reasonable rate, as far as that goes.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody listening right now is saying, "Where do I get a Kublu virtual assistant?" So we'll drop the links below. You can click, and you know, once somebody comes to your website, or what's the next step? How do they get on board? Is there a scheduling a consultation? Is there an intake form? What would someone out there listening right now saying, "I got to have a virtual assistant"? What do they do?
Yeah, so just come visit our website, coolblueva.com. You can schedule basically a discovery call with us. We'll sit down, we'll talk to you, find out what your pain points are, what you hate doing every day, what do you wake up dreading in your business, or what is your staff complaining to you about. We'll come up with a list of things that you want to hand off and get a virtual assistant for, and then we'll go back into our roster of graduates. We'll find a great candidate for you, All right. And the beauty of this is you get the same person working for you day in and day out, right? So they learn to get to know your patients, they learn about your practice, they learn how you like to operate. So you're not always having to train somebody new again. Um, but to make sure that you're absolutely satisfied with the service, with the virtual assistant, we are actually offering right now to all the Wellness Parenting Revolution listeners a 2-week free trial. So you can work with the virtual assistant for 40 hours a week, 80 hours in total. That's $800 in value for you, to see if this virtual assistant makes sense, to see if they take away your headaches, and see if they let you get home on time to your kids, right?
That's fantastic. We didn't even know you were doing that. Thank you so much. I'm sure that so many people are going to want to take advantage of that. What a great opportunity. We have to say we meet, a lot of docs all across the country all the time. And if we're in a room filled with docs and we ask, what's the number one pain point in your office by a show of hands, it is always, and I'm sorry for the staff listening, I'm sure you're wonderful, but it is always hiring, and on the flip side, firing, which most people don't do soon enough, and it drags on, and it's difficult in the office. But the hiring process and finding that right person is really difficult. And then, Justin, as you mentioned, like just training that person and getting them to, sometimes it's a very heavy lift. So, having this opportunity, I know I've talked to a lot of people that have said, I really want a virtual assistant. I've heard that could be a great thing, but I just don't, I wouldn't even know where to start, like where do we find one? And so I love that you guys offer this and that they can take care of so many things. There's so many in the office. I know you with your clinic and Dr. Carrie, how you guys run that, and functional medical doctors. Offices, but I know you work with a lot of chiropractors now too, and have jumped into that space as well. And, I love that so many docs can take advantage of this. And Dr. Carey, from the sounds of it, your office has grown exponentially, starting through COVID, and now you have so many providers and so many VAs running it. The proof is in the pudding. So I guess it's
Yes.
extremely effective.
Yes. Yeah, no, it really is. Like I trust them, right? They definitely have the HIPAA training. And the thing about Cool Blue that's cool is that they have a really hands-on approach. Like they said, they do this discovery call to actually see, hey, where's the best way of actually implementing your virtual assistant? And with that really personalized touch, they actually can help with setting up phone trees, or they have a training program that is very good through customer service, or if it's insurance, to do prior auths or eligibility or verification, or if it's scribing, or literally anything. We take pride. I think Justin takes pride in really having that close connection with our clients, because we're starting out. We know the pain points too. We know providers what they have to go through, and that really we're like clueless when we come out. So it is nice to have someone to be able to also help in that, like consult on, hey, well, what are the standard protocols that I would do, like with a VA? Like, do I give them reviews? How do I treat them? And so we have these protocols. I think Kublu does, to be able to kind of guide each provider. And we definitely always like to check in with providers, say, hey, how's your VA? And we also check in with the VAs every week or every month. Justin can talk about that, just to make sure, hey, are you guys both happy on both sides, right? And if it's not, like, why? How do we troubleshoot that? And making sure everybody is on the right track, right? So that's a little more like personalized touch that I think is probably different than a lot of the super big companies, yeah. Justin,
And
do you
one
want
of
to add
the
anything?
other benefits is cutting down on all the gossip and drama that can occur in the office setting as well. And also, I bet there's less distractions, and so you're much more efficient as well. So there's so many benefits that the average doctor wouldn't even think about because they're so caught up in their busyness and what they're doing, and sometimes they don't know where to start. But you've even expanded my knowledge on this conversation about all the things the VA could do. And Justin mentioned also about social media. Talk a little bit about what type of work a VA can do for social media.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Dr. Stu. And yeah, just to comment about what you said earlier as well as, yeah, these virtual assistants, they're like super motivated. The dollar stretches a long way in the Philippines. And so they get paid very well. And I actually worry about them sometimes because they want to work 40, 50, 60 hours. I say, you got to slow down. You're going to get burnt out, So I have to tell them, like, hey, take it easy. Make sure, take a break on the weekends or something, as far as that is concerned. So yeah, they love to work. They love to serve. They're all about that service here. But as far as social media is concerned, yeah, a lot of doctors, once again, they don't know about the business side of it. They don't know about marketing, or any of that. So really, social media is something that is super important that you do need to get done in your practice. You need to grow your presence. You need to grow your name out there, but it's just time consuming. So these virtual assistants, we find virtual assistants who are experts in social media. They'll have 2, 3, 4 years of experience doing this, so they can post on Instagram for you. They can post on Facebook for you. If you're making videos, they can do like basic video editing, help you make some TikToks or some reels for you. They also know how to use AI, ChatGPT, so they can come up with things for you to do there. So like, if you're a chiropractor and you're doing, you need some ideas, like, hey, can you help me find what are the top 10 benefits of NUCA or like adjustment or something like that. They'll go on Google, they'll research it, they'll go on ChatGPT, they'll find the stuff for you, they'll present you with ideas. And then you can review the ideas, say, hey, I want to talk more about this. Let's turn this into an infographic. Let's make some images out of this. And they can do that on Canva, and all that stuff to really grow your brand, help get you more recognition, and help people get into your door, right? So you can help more people out.
I just love it. Justin, my favorite thing so far that you said is in the, initial call, you say, what do you, it's kind of bad, but what do you wake up in the morning dreading? Like of going into your practice. You hope it's nothing, but everybody knows there's something. Like we love to see patients, but there's, it might be the paperwork. It might be, depending on if you're a cash practice, your billing office, there's always something. And knowing that gets taken care of, that's such like so much more fun and exciting to go into the practice and be able to do what we want to do, which is serve patients. And before we went live, when the three of us were or four of us were talking, Stu always jokes like, what's the one thing they teach us in chiropractic college and med school is about business, and that's nothing. And so having someone that's helping us to have that backside of the office and be able to take care of that very seamlessly, it's just such a gift. That's a great thing. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, that's exactly where the origins of this business stemmed from, right? Our own clinic, and we were not happy doing stuff. Dr. Carey was getting burnt out. I was getting burnt out. I was like, hey, we got to find a solution. Otherwise, maybe I have to close shop in 2 years because we can't keep doing this or something, right? So thankfully, we were able to get virtual assistants. And like I said, it helped us, our practice out so much. Dr. Carey is able to go home on time. You get to come to work with a big smile on your face, right? And get to really do what is you were trained to do what you spent years of your life, paying a lot of dues to learn to do, right? And that's helping patients out, right? And not worrying about all that other stuff. Just leave that to the virtual assistants. They could take care of that for you.
Yes, you're just not providing an employee that's going to do tasks for a doctor's office. Really, what you're providing is you're giving that doctor peace and freedom and happiness to be able to go and live their life and know this is taken care of. And it's very gracious of you to offer all the doctors listening a 2-week trial to see how it would work for them. What are some of the packages or models that you have with doctors, as far as is it per hour, per day, per
Yeah.
week? What's the options available to the doctors?
Yeah, so we want to make it as easy as possible, really for the doctors. So the rate is really just $9.95 an hour, all right, and that's for 32 hours a week, and it's just week to week. So there's no long-term commitment. There's no contract. We're not going to hang your head over it with anything. We just want to be able to work with you and help you with your practice, right? So if any at point in time you're not happy, you don't even have to let the virtual assistant go. You just tell us, we'll take care of it, and then that's the end of that. You can go below 32 hours if you don't feel like you have enough work. We're still here to work with you. Like, so we just want to help as many people out as we can. The rate just goes up a little bit. It goes up to $12 an hour, and then we have an absolute minimum of 20 hours a week. Because the virtual assistant doesn't work for anybody else. They work for you and you alone. So they're dedicated to your practice, to your business, and making sure that you're successful. We don't want them to work with anybody else, get confused,
Wow.
or anything like that. So that's why.
That's a huge selling point. That's amazing, Justin. I didn't even realize that. And that's really incredible. So their 100% focus is on your office and your patients. That's
Yeah,
great.
exactly. That's exactly. You just pretty much think of them like a member of your team,
Yeah.
a member of your staff, but you don't have to worry about taxes. You don't have to worry about Social Security. You don't have to worry about overtime. You don't have any of that headache, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
People
And
are listening.
and
I'm
if like
like, how are you going to handle all this business? Because I think everyone's going to be wanting to jump on board.
Yeah,
and
well, the
really
good
if
thing is
like
go ahead, Dr. Carey.
Like if a doctor or a VA, let's say they're not working out, or if someone has to go on leave or something, like Kubo VA will change them out. And there's also lead time for that training time, right? Justin, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so if we know life happens, right? So if a virtual assistant wants to go take a vacation, right? Or if they get pregnant and they're going to become a parent, right? There may be some maternity leave with that. So then we will find a replacement virtual assistant, onboard them, make sure that they're trained up in all the tasks that your current virtual assistant is taking care of. And so we try and make the transition as seamless as possible for you.
Mhm. So we're talking all about the doctor's office and the business, but it seems like they could be helpful too with scheduling appointments and travel and things on the personal side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to my virtual assistant, Donna. Right, that's who liaisoning with Dr. Stu. So she takes care of all my travel plans when I'm going to conventions and exhibiting. She takes care of all my flights. She books all my hotels. Like I said, she orders me lunch in the afternoon, so I don't have to worry about that. My focus can be on, running the business, or the doctor's focus, be on, taking care of patients, or whatever is really the most important stuff for them, right?
That's great. And I would imagine, with a larger office like you have, Dr. Carey, you may have multiple VAs that have singular kind of job positions or focuses. But in a small office, or someone that's getting their first VA, Justin, can they do crossover into multiple things so that just like a doc that was starting out that had one employee and they were doing everything from answering the phones to escorting patients and collecting money, or doing a whole bunch of stuff? Maybe ordering lunch.
Yeah, there's a lot that they can do, but they can't do everything. They're not Superman, right? Um, and we found where they really shine is when you focus on their strengths and like really let them hone in on that and whatnot, so they can really shine in that role. But like I said, the great thing is that you get the same person working for you day in and day out. So you can train them up, you can teach them more, you know, um, and we've had virtual assistants in Dr. Carey's practice that have been with them for like 4 or 5 years now, right? So they want to stay. Like I said, they get paid very well. They love the job, and so you get that stability, and you get to grow with them, and they get to grow with you. You know.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
and
great.
it kind of goes. I started with one VA, right? Like we start all with one, and she's still with us, right? It's been 4 years. But what's great is that when you train this one VA and they will in turn be able to train the other VAs that you get, right? Because your time, yes, you need to take time to be able to train on the protocols for whatever office you have to go through. But if they get it down, they can actually reproduce those protocols into documents or into videos. And so then you can actually make all these training protocols ahead of time, and I can double check, obviously. Or when I'm training this one VA, I make sure I video myself doing it so that I don't have to keep training each additional person that I'm bringing on. It's the same with any staff, right? Even in person. But when you do it virtually, a lot of this can be reproduced very easily, and they can watch the video ahead of time, and then we kind of do the training and we test them. And so it's so much easier once you kind of get started with the VAs. They help each other also. We keep track of all our VAs, definitely. I mean, just like any employee, you still have to manage, right? So, yes, you have to keep an eye on them. The way we do that is, hey, we make sure everyone, all our VAs go into a Zoom room, and we have different breakout rooms depending on if they're customer service, if they're back office, if they're insurance. And so we do keep an eye on all of them, making sure that, hey, their screens are on, that they're actually like working, and that we keep track. And if they have questions, they can just like ping us and we can answer. We can go into the Zoom room, show them how to do something, and then yeah, they continue their work. So it still takes monitoring. So I wouldn't say like, hey, you let them fly. Just like any employee, you still keep an eye on them, right? They have their issues, but we work through it. We have good communication with them over chat and over Zoom.
Perfect.
Yeah, and just to add to that one point, we actually do install a tracking software on every virtual assistant's computer. And it doesn't track like their screen or what's happening on there. It just tracks that their mouse is moving, the keyboard is getting typed on. And so actually, if they're not active and they're not moving for more than 6 minutes, it's actually going to stop tracking the time, and then you're not going to get billed for those time that the virtual assistant is not working. So, we want to make sure that if they're productive, then then you pay for it. If they're not productive, you're not going to be billed for that.
Wow.
You've thought of everything. So what are some of the, we talked about a lot of the main functions of the Cool Blue VA, but what are some of the more unconventional uses that you've seen, or more unique tasks that the VA has been able to help with that maybe we haven't discussed yet?
Yeah, there's some creative usages actually. Dr. Terry, you mentioned if there's somebody like a solo practice, a solo practitioner in their office. I have some doctors that are solo practices. They actually will put a monitor on their front office. They don't even have a front office person, and they put a camera on a monitor. So when a patient walks in through the front doors, they're actually greeted by the virtual assistant. And the virtual assistant is saying hi to them and greeting them very nicely. And then once the patient is ready, they'll chat over and message the doctor, and then the doctor will come out to room the patient, right? Because you still need a physical person to room the patient. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to, skin the cat, right? And we're here to help you find those solutions to that. So that's part of the discovery call. If you're having a problem that you can't figure out, and you need help with, we've pretty much seen it all. So,
Mhm.
we'll have a solution for you. We'll figure something out.
You,
It's
you're
great.
you're too young, but what came to mind when you're talking about the monitor greeting the patient when they're coming in is the cartoon TV show, The Jetsons.
Oh,
I don't know if you ever consider
We
The
know that.
Jetsons,
No, we're not that young.
but
yeah,
yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
this
funny. That's true.
takes care of everything.
Yeah. No,
absolutely, absolutely.
I love our scribes, because, right, I mean, as a provider and dealing with our medical system, like, unfortunately, we have to have good documentation, right? Um, and and everyone complains about the EMR. You can definitely, like, my EMR we use, oh, so much clicking, and it's like it's such a headache, right? But it's just been so useful because what my scribe does is the day before or even the morning of, they actually can copy my previous note over for me. They can already start editing the note based on what I would want to see, because it's always good to see what you previously did, right? And then they can actually delete all the previous labs that I don't need to see anymore. They can import all the labs from the current visit, and they can actually, like, when I have labs come through, I actually have one virtual assistant just dedicated to writing all the abnormal labs down so that I can easily put that into my current note. And so I don't have to like write all of these things down by myself, during the visit. And then we have templates that put in physical exam, sure, and the supplements. And when I do supplements, they're complicated. They're not like normal easy medical names anymore. But hey, if you make the system good for them, they even know how to increase one or take two, or um, and be able to edit these things so it's not so much clicking for myself. I literally just talk to the patient, right? And then if it's a um, virtual visit, I've actually trained my scribe to be like to actually go through with the patient after the visit, say, okay, these are the things you're going to be taking. This is what you're going to increase. This is what you're going to decrease. I'm uploading this protocol for you. So they are actually talking to the patient like they are actually assisting. So I really don't have, I'm just going to say, my scribe will tell you. And then they'll come back on and then they actually like go through the protocol. So really my time, it doesn't have to be so intense in like, okay, make sure you write this down, because the patient can write it down later with my scribe, when they're on. So not only scribes, but they're like assisting me further in all those uploads, and yeah, making sure they get all their articles and their protocols, and then like warning them of certain things, so they get to know you. Like I said, I have like my scribes for 4 years too. They know what I'm going to order, so they can even start ultimately knowing, oh, you kind of missed this, doctor, did you actually want to do this? Like they actually are like recommending it for me, and I was like, yeah, you're right, it should be that. So they get to know your style, and they're learning too. What one of my virtual assistants just told me, oh man, I loved it here because I'm learning so much, that they can actually help their family, like the nutrition, the lifestyle, the habits that we're teaching our patients. They're also actually benefiting from those healthy things that we're talking about. So they love it. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's great. I know this is resonating with so many people. As a reminder, Stu's going to drop the link so that you guys can get to coolblueva.com and find out more about it. It's a great website, really details a lot, and also take advantage of 80 hours of a VA. I mean, that's amazing. And find out, really how this can integrate into your lifestyle, into your practice, and plug those holes or take the stress off of, what so many of us have, whether like Dr. Carrie, you have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old at home. And whether you're mom or dad that needs to get home to those kids, it's, taking care of all those details, no matter where we are in practice, and just allowing us to have more freedom and flexibility. So just such a great service, and so many aspects to what you guys provide.
Well, it's been wonderful learning everything about what you do. And really, I'm more interested than ever after hearing all the different applications. Justin, Carrie, is there anything else you'd like to share with everyone?
Yeah, we'll be at the Wellness Parenting Revolution convention as well. I believe that's November 1 to 3. If you're there, definitely come by, say hello at our booth. We'd love to talk more, see if we can help you.
Well, thank you
And
so much,
I
Dr.
think,
Carey. Did you want to say anything in closing?
yeah, yeah. Well, as a parent and to all the parents out there, right? There is hope and there is time to be with your kids, and to take your wellness into account, because I know I've been down that burnout journey. And so if I can help other parents out there prevent burnout, or other doctors, yeah, like that, this is the way to go for sure. And yeah, I hope we are able to continue to help, not only doctors but their families, right? So, and chiropractors and anybody who's out there in business. All right.
All right, fantastic. And I want to thank both of you for your time and all that you're doing. And I know this is just going to keep growing and expanding. And thank everybody for tuning in today, as we are all taking back our families' health and freedoms to make it a better world. And we'll see you all next time, everyone.